How's it going, everybody? Alex Gorka here. I'm gonna tell you guys, finish telling you guys a story about me getting raided and shit and what had happened to me while I was in jail and after I got out and like all the shit I had to deal with. Um, so where I left off is before I get started, this is dope ass blanket my brother gave me. It says best buds stick together. It's a big pot leaf. There's two of them, but anyways, pretty sick blanket. Works good. It's like a backdrop. So, anyways. So I spent 3 days in jail. While I was in there, I got to be like pretty good friends with these guys. It felt like it was way longer than 3 days. And for me, jail wasn't that bad. Like my girlfriend hated it because she couldn't see her daughter, she couldn't see me. But like other than the fact I couldn't see my family, jail wasn't that bad. Like they got food from one of the stores there in town, and it was like they fed us pretty good. And the only thing that sucked was the guards were dicks. Like people that would come around and do like the watches and stuff at night, they were fucking rude as hell. And like I get that I'm in jail. Like obviously I'm the bad guy and they're the good guy, but um, it's just crazy how like disrespectful they are to all the people that are in jail. So I was in there for 3 days. The guys that I was in there with were really cool. I mean, they treated me really good. They gave me like a pen and paper and like let me like write a letter to my girlfriend. I didn't know how long I was gonna be in there, so they were pretty nice guys. But while I was in there, I got the opportunity to call my lawyer, and so I call her. It's this chick, right? I call her, and she tells me that she's not my lawyer anymore because she can't take a felony case, and apparently my one of my things was a felony. The manufacturing of a controlled substance, that's a felony. Growing weed is a felony in Iowa, and it's punishable for up to 5 years. I could spend 5 years in prison for growing a plant. And then the other one, child endangerment, which that is that's 1 year. Child endangerment's 1 year. Growing a plant is 5 years. And then the other one was 1 year. So I could have spent 7 years in prison if like everything went really bad for me. But that's not the case, thankfully. Um, so I call her and she tells me she can't like help me. She has to like refer me to another lawyer. So she did, and I didn't get to call him till I was already out. My brother ended up getting the money together after they dropped our bond down to the $2,000. We all ended up getting out. My brother paid for me and my mom and my mom's boyfriend, but my girlfriend, she her parents got her out, and yeah, I think they could have got her out a lot sooner, but I think they were just trying to teach her a lesson, which 3 days to me seemed a little bit extreme. But I left her in there for a while. Um, so yeah, we all got out on the same day. I got out like the last person to get out, or the second to last, and I go out to my cousin's car. They let me out. They gave me all my shit back, and I go out and I get in his car, and he's like, "Dude, I can't believe Mark fucking did that." And while I was in jail, I did not think like I could not think of who would have turned me in. Like I don't have any enemies. Mark, my mom's ex boyfriend, me and him were like close to like we weren't close, but we were like good friends. Like out of all the people in my family, me and him got along the best. And so I'm like, why the fuck would he do that to me? Like I thought we were friends, and he just fucking turns me into the cops. Like this. I could go to prison, and this fucker just turned me in like for no reason. But come to find out, he turned us in because he found out my mom had a new boyfriend, and he was fucking. I guess he was not happy about it, and he was trying to get back at her, but he didn't even. You guys will see. He didn't even get back at her at all. Nothing happened to my mom. My mom has no charges anymore. But so anyways, we get out of jail. I go back home. I'm not allowed to see my girlfriend for like 2 months after all this happened. I was not allowed to see her for a long time. I couldn't see my daughter. We had to work with DHS. DHS like took months to get DHS like right. Like it's November. It's been 11 months since this started, and now we're just finishing our DHS case. And it just is crazy to think that I had to do all this. But DHS wanted me to go to this Jackson Recovery. It's like a substance abuse place. Um, and so I had to go there to get a evaluation to see if I was addicted to marijuana. And I wasn't. I mean, they made me take like a psychological test, and I don't have an addictive personality. Like I don't drink coffee. I don't drink alcohol very much. Almost never. And so, anyways, so we breezed through DHS. We breezed through this Jackson Recovery. We have to do like 8 sessions, right? Me and Sophie both have to get jobs. Like we have to jump through all these fucking hoops just to get our daughter back. We got to where we could be with her alone for 2 hours, and then it was like 4 hours, and it was 8 hours, then it was like on the weekends we could go do whatever we want, but we have to be home at this time. So it was literally like we were in high school again. We had to be watched all the time. My girlfriend's parents they weren't messing around with it either, at all. They were, I mean, it makes sense. They didn't want us to get in trouble any more than we already were, but they weren't messing around. So we find out that Mark did it, and how we know Mark did it is that my lawyer and my mom's lawyer, well, it was actually just my mom's lawyer, he files this report saying that we want proof of how they got their search warrant, and they give us the entire report on how they got the search warrant. And what they said was they had three reasons, 3 things that got them into my house. The first one was our electricity bill. They got a subpoena. They subpoenaed our electricity bill, and they said our electricity bill was unusually high for a house of this size. And so, a couple things. Our electricity bill was fucking normal. Like, it's never fluctuated at all. My mom has like farm animals and shit, so sometimes in the colder months, her electricity bill will go up because we have to have like heating lamps and all that shit out there, and then it goes back down. So that's bullshit that they had the electric company give them our bill and say that was too high, because it wasn't. So the second thing was that our windows were covered in December. Our windows were covered with curtains, not foil or boards. Our windows were covered with curtains. So apparently that's against the law. You're not supposed to have curtains up in the cold months, and it's sketchy if you do. So don't keep your windows open even if it's winter, okay? Because the cops will drive by and think you got a fucking meth lab up in your place. But and then the third reason was the guy that turned us in. So really, they didn't have anything besides the guy that turned us in. So his story that he told them was, first he emails them, because he's too cowardly to go in and say that and turn us in person, right? He's a little bitch. So he emails them and says, hey, this address has a marijuana grow going on. So they email him back, and they're like, well, how do you know this? Like, can you come in and talk to us? And I guess he wasn't going for it at first, but eventually he was like, okay, I'll come in. So he comes in and he talks to them, and he tells them that he used to live here, and that my mom's new boyfriend answered the door one day whenever he came to get some of his stuff. He told them that he came to the door, and my mom's new boyfriend opened up the door and let him come into the house. Okay. He said that my mom's new boyfriend opened up the door that had all these plants in it and showed him all the plants. Showed him all these marijuana plants that we had, right? Because if I was dating a girl and her ex-boyfriend shows up, I'm gonna let him come into the house and show him marijuana plants, because that sounds like something that somebody would do, apparently. So that's how he found out. But he told them this. He emailed them on November 19th. They get a hold of him. He emailed them on November 19th, and he said, there's a marijuana grow going on at this address. This is how I know. And then they get a hold of him, and he comes back in, and they said, okay, when did this happen? He said, well, it happened on December 14th. Well, a couple things. The guy who he said was here that let him into the house was at work that day. Which maybe he could have done it whenever he got back from work or got off work, but he worked evening shift, so he was gone like pretty much the majority of the day. So There's that. There's also, if he emailed them on November 19th saying there's a marijuana grow going in this house, how did he not? He's seen it on the 14th of December, but he emailed them on the 19th of November. So somehow, and on the 19th of November, he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go in this house in a month, and I'm gonna see these plants." So like, if you look at their storyline, like how this happened, it was bullshit. Like that, like I hope you guys understand what I'm saying whenever I say that he had to have gone back in time, or gone into the future, I mean, and seen these plants, then came back to the 19th of November and been like, "Oh, there's a marijuana grow going on," or whatever the fuck. So, you guys get it. He's full of shit. He's a piece of shit. So, their whole story is just bullshit. It's just crazy how they got their search warrant. So like, I'm gonna fight it. Like, we're gonna get their search warrant thrown out. So all of our lawyers are like, just keep fighting it, keep fighting it. They offer us all a deal. The deal is 2 years of probation. They drop all the charges besides the felony, and we plead guilty to the felony, and then the felony gets dropped after the 2 years of probation, and $1,000 fine. My girlfriend, she has our daughter. As soon as she seen that they were offering us this deal, she took it. And me and my mom and her boyfriend didn't, because I'm like, I'm not doing that. I want to try to get their search warrant thrown out. I'm not going for this shit. This is bullshit. So I'm not gonna, I'm gonna fight it all I can, tooth and nail. So we did. We fought as much as we could, and months go by, and we have all these court cases and stuff come up. I meet my lawyer once, and then I tried getting a hold of him a couple of times, and he wasn't really like responsive. In the meantime, me and Sophie both got full-time jobs, worked 50 plus hours a week. I got promotion, and we got back on top. We got on our feet and stuff, and it was great. Like, we were making like good money, and all our bills were paid. We paid off like everything. We own her car now, and so things were like doing really good for us after like we were going super low, and now we're like doing really good. We were getting getting pretty good paychecks and stuff, so it was good. And then just like a couple months ago, we have another court date, and my lawyer's like, "I'll let you know. I'll get a hold of you whenever you're supposed to be there." So apparently whenever you get arrested, they have all these like preliminary trials and all these other like things that lead up to the actual trial that you're like, "Oh, you don't got to be there for that. You don't got to be there for that." But if I miss one of these and I'm supposed to be there, I go to jail, and then I go to jail, and it's like I go back to jail, and obviously that's not a good thing. So I'm like really skeptical. He's always like, "Oh, you don't got to be there for this one." But my mom and her lawyer, and my mom's boyfriend and his lawyer, they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna be there." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm just gonna show up anyways." So I get work off every day, every time that we have one of these trial things. I get work off, and I go to him, but I ended up not having to be there. So he was right. Well, I wake up, go to work one day. I have a trial. I get it off. I'm getting ready to walk out of my work, and my lawyer's secretary calls me, and she's like, "Hey, this is so-and-so's office, and I just want to let you know that we're not going to be there today. You don't have to be there today. This is just a preliminary trial, and you don't have to be there." And I'm like, "I'm pretty sure I have to be there for this one." She's like, No, he'll call you, so just stay by your phone." So I'm like, "Okay, I'll just go home, chill for a while, wait for his phone call." So I get back home, call my mom, and she's at the courthouse where I'm supposed to be, or where I thought I was supposed to be. And she's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, I'm at home. My lawyer said I don't got to be there." She goes, "No, you have to be here." I'm like, "Oh, he said I didn't have to." So we hang up. Like 10 minutes later, she texts me back, and she's like, "You have to be here right now." So I go, I jump in the car, drive as fast as I can. I get there, and they're just chilling. Nothing's going on. And I go up to the secretary, and I'm like, "I think I want a new lawyer because I was supposed to be there, and he told me I didn't have to be there. I could have gone back to jail." So he wasn't answering my phone calls back. He was too busy, and he had gone away for surgery, and I didn't know about it. He was gone for like 2 months, and I was like calling him. Like, I wasn't like blowing his phones up or anything, but I wanted to know if he had any new information. So So I go up there, I sign this little paper. I have to write up a paper of what I want, why the reason why I want a new lawyer. So I do it. 10 minutes later, they call me into the courtroom, and they give me a new lawyer. He takes me to the back, like this little meeting room, and we start talking. And he's like, "So what's going on? Like, what's the story?" So I tell him everything. I tell him everything I just told you guys, right? And he's like, "Okay." And I'm like, "So my girlfriend, she had taken the deal, and whenever you're on probation, you have to serve 3/4 of the time. So if you get a year, you have to be there for 9 months. If you get 2 years, you have to be there for a year and a half." So I'm like, "Well, the thing is that I'll take a deal, but I don't want to pay $1,000 in a civil penalty, and I don't want to be on probation for 2 years." And he's like, "Well, would you do a year?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's like 9 months." I'm like, "So I'd do that. I'd take that deal if they'd let me." And so, um, and my lawyer had just my old lawyer. So this is my third lawyer. My old lawyer had just told me, "Oh, they won't." He calls me back right before I got there. He called me back and he was telling me, "Oh no, they won't take any deals. They want you to do the 2 year deal." But I go to this new lawyer literally probably 30 minutes later, and he's like, "Let me go talk to him." He goes back to the judge. He talks to the judge. All my mom's charges get dropped. All my mom's boyfriend's charges get dropped. I get a year or 9 months of probation. All my charges get dropped, and my felony charge, the one that so they keep the biggest one, they drop all the other ones, and they keep the biggest one, and they kind of like hold that over my head. And if I mess up on probation, they just drop that 5 years on me that I could go to prison. So that's like what they like warn you with. If you mess up, then you get the biggest felony, the biggest charge you have. They keep that. So yeah, he got me 1 year of probation, and my girlfriend about had 1 year left whenever we took the deal. She had like a little over a year. But we'll both get off within like a month of each other if we both, when we both get through all this and like get off probation. So we have our daughter back. We moved back in with my mom. DHS is closing in 2 weeks. It's like crazy to think that all this stuff happened. And I don't know. It's surreal. I keep saying that, but it's like it's crazy to think that it's just a plant. Like it's literally just a plant. It's something that doesn't have, for most people. Marijuana is not for everybody, but it's just a plant. So yeah, that's what happened whenever my house got raided. I'd like to continue making videos. If anybody's interested in subscribing and kind of following me, I am going to be getting like a bus that I'm going to be driving around in and stuff. Make it into a tiny house. I want to like be able to drive coast to coast. So, and hopefully I'll be able to make some smoke videos later. But anyways, that's it. So if you guys don't mind, go ahead and subscribe. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you later. Thanks, guys.